This is Live from the Table, the official podcast of the world-famous Comedy Cellar, coming at you on Sirius XM 99 Raw Dog and wherever you get your podcasts. This is Dan Naturman. Noam Dorman is not here, alas. He is in Montreal. There's a comedy festival going on, and he decided to go last minute. I would have preferred him here because I would have liked to discuss certain things with him that I think would be interesting, but... in any case, he is not here, but who is here is Miss Periel Aschenbrand, our producer.
Hello.
And we also have Todd Barry with us.
What's up?
How do you do, Todd?
Yeah, you can.
Did you start already?
We started. Yeah, we usually do,
I don't want
Go-
people to know that I pee.
Go around.
go pee.
Go right
pee.
there.
I have something to discuss just very briefly that doesn't concern you, so although you're welcome to, listen in. But I have diagnosed myself on the internet
Yeah.
with benign paroxysmal positional vertigo.
Okay.
I woke up this morning and I got out of bed and the room started spinning.
Okay.
And it's very, very disconcerting. Because first of all, you're thinking, I can't function like this.
Okay.
And second of all, you're thinking, is this a brain tumor?
You're thinking.
Well, I think I'm not the only one that would have those thoughts.
I don't know.
I'm not the only
brain tumor is the first place that everybody else is gonna go.
Right, so you're saying I'm not the only one.
No, I'm saying
You're saying a brain tumor is not what are you saying?
I'm saying that I think that you are a little bit of a hypochondriac.
I am, but I'm hardly the only one, and it's a very disconcerting sensation. And it happened, and I figured, well, maybe it's a one-off thing, and then it happened again when I laid back down to bed after peeing. And then I went on the internet and I Googled around, and thankfully, I'm fairly confident that this diagnosis is accurate. It is a benign condition and a self-limiting one, i.e., it doesn't last indefinitely, but it can take time.
Do you think that it's possible that you're dehydrated?
It mentioned that, and I don't think so, because I haven't. There's nothing that's happened that I'm doing any differently than I normally do. So what it is like these crystals apparently get this. Somehow get into your inner ear or whatever, and they fuck up your whole thing. So it's like when you lie down and get up in particular.
And how many times has this happened?
Every time I lie down and get up, but if I do it slowly, without making too many, you might notice during this podcast, my head might not be moving. I might be paying more attention to head movements, for example. But anyway,
how long has this been going on?
Just
for?
today. I woke up today. The room's like spinning like a fucking rotor at the amusement park. You know that ride where it spins around.
Okay, so it happened,
and it's like very disabling.
Yeah, I have no doubt that it is.
And it's also and if that's not bad enough, it makes you nauseous, which is one of my things that I really don't enjoy in life. Nobody does, but I have a particular fear of it.
You do have a particular.
Anyway, it goes away after a few weeks, but.
Well, why have you?
And there's also some exercises you can do.
Wait. Why are you just committed to living with this for a few weeks? Why don't you just go to the doctor?
Well, they can't do much for you. They can give you these exercises.
If this is what it is, it might not be.
A 99.9% chance it is what it is. This is what it is. You can't get. I can't get in to see my doctor. I fucking try to make an appointment, and it's like you're lucky if you can get in within the month.
I can get in to see my doctor.
Well, you have a good situation. I'm talking about. You ever get vertigo, Todd?
That's weird. The other day I was dizzy.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
Dan can diagnose it.
Well, I don't know.
How do I turn me down? Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I was saying I got up out of bed this morning and the room started spinning.
Yeah, that exact thing happened to me like 3 days ago.
Oh, that's odd. Maybe it's contagious. No, it's something called, that it may or may not be the case with you, benign paroxysmal positional vertigo.
I like benign.
Benign is an important word. It is benign, but it's unpleasant. But it tends to happen when you lie down, sit up, make abrupt head movements.
Oh, I think that sounds like you got it.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm glad you told me that because that makes me feel better about.
Yeah, it's not going to kill you, but it is annoying and disabling. I mean, if it happens on stage, you're going down. You're fucking.
Or you might be dehydrated.
But it sounds like a thing you'd have to. It happens when you're lying down. So
it's when you change positions.
Oh.
Lying down to get up to lie down.
I've seen you on stage. You're not doing any drastic.
I'm not humping the stool,
Well, yeah.
But I'm not doing any drastic movements either.
The night's young, right?
Yeah, you don't want to rule that out, do you?
But Yeah, I don't know what they can do for you. I know there's some exercises with your head, and I tried them at home, but it was like really maybe nauseous, and so maybe there's something they can do for you. But I'm just saying I can't get in to see my doctor. Like it takes like a month.
What kind of doctor?
I go to Langone, NYU.
Do you have the same doctor every time, or?
Well, I have it's the same place, and depending what's wrong with me, like I have the same dermatologist when I have to get a skin test, and you know.
But what about like your GP?
He's Dr. Lamb, which is the same guy Noam uses.
Oh.
So what if you call and you're like, I want to make an appointment?
Yeah, it's going to be like a month.
Well, what if it's like pressing?
Then you go to ER.
That's ridiculous.
I don't even have a primary care physician now because mine became a concierge doctor, and I didn't feel like.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
$2,300. I do a bit about it, which I'm not going to do for you guys, but it was $2,300 on top of. And this was right when the pandemic started.
And that means you get to see him like anytime you want.
Yeah, it was allegedly, but I mean.
$2,300 a year?
That's the annual.
No, a month.
No, a year.
Oh, yeah, that's good though.
Is that?
Yeah.
For a whole year?
Will you listen to me though?
Okay.
Sorry, I snapped. But that you still have to pay for the appointments.
Okay.
Does he take insurance?
I don't think she takes. I don't think she takes my current shitty insurance that I have because I lost my SAG insurance.
I lost my SAG insurance.
Yeah.
So SAG, the Screen Actors Guild, I guess everybody knows what SAG is, especially now. I lost mine, but I just bought it on the open market. I pay $700.
What do you?
It's Blue Cross.
Do doctors take it?
Yeah, everybody takes it, but it's expensive, like $700 a month.
Because didn't you have to buy Obamacare? I can't believe I'm talking about insurance, but why not?
Well, it's to lead us into SAG anyway. No, I don't know what the rules are, but I just paid.
So you bought it on the market?
I had to like wait till I spent like 2 months uninsured because I was waiting for open enrollment.
Yeah.
Which is November, I guess.
I thought I couldn't get Blue Cross for some reason.
You just have to.
You just have to pay
either
for
buy it during open enrollment or like show that your insurance because you had a change of occupation. I don't know. I just decided to wait and be uninsured for 2 months.
Okay.
Anyway, this brings us to the SAG strike.
Okay, let's talk insurance more. A little more insurance.
No,
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Well, we're on strike, Todd. You and I, union.
Yeah, we're on strike. I picketed today.
Did you really?
Yeah, it's my third time.
Okay. Now, are you picketing? Where'd you picket?
On the Netflix offices on I think it's Netflix Warner Brothers maybe on 19th and Broadway.
Now, did you go because of the cause, or you just thought meet some cool people, hang out, something to do?
Well, I mean, the cause, and it's also walking distance from my apartment.
And who was there? Any interesting notables?
Who have I seen there so far? I saw someone from Law and Order. The last time I saw, what's her name from Cynthia Nixon. I think I missed AOC, who was there a couple of days ago.
Okay.
I love Law and Order so much.
This is the woman, I forgot her name, but it's kind of
She's like a regular?
Yeah, you would know her if you.
SVU? Like
I don't know.
Mariska Hargitay?
Yes, that's it.
Oh my God, stop it.
She was there, yeah. And then the first day I saw, I don't know if you know David Krumholtz, I've seen him, and that guy Anthony Rapp.
Oh, I know him. I mean, I
think his name's Anthony Rapp.
Yeah.
Guy from Rent?
The guy from what?
Rent, right?
Yes, and he was in. He was in School Tide, but this is going back like 25 years. But
and I saw Susan Sarandon the first.
Okay.
Day. Yeah,
okay.
She was probably the biggest star I saw.
What exactly are we fighting for, Todd?
God!
Since you were at the,
I
assume you're abreast of these things.
I mean, I'm dreading because sometimes they shove microphones in people's faces, and I know I'm just ready to go. I'm not the one to talk about this. I just kind of know it. So I'm doing the right thing. And I think a lot of it is about streaming.
Right, residuals and streaming.
Yeah, because you're on a show for Netflix. Netflix, like if you have a special on Netflix, they don't tell you if it's doing well or not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they don't go, here's what the numbers are, even though if it's your own special. So, if it were a residual kind of model, I guess, if you were on a show that was getting streamed billions of times as opposed to 100,000 times, you should get more money. I think that's what it's about. I don't know why. I just know it's cool to strike and then post an Instagram picture of.
Look, everybody, our union is striking, so we're part of the union.
Yeah, I have a feel. I just feel like it feels right.
It probably, yeah. I mean, it's, what one might, if Noam were here, and Noam's not here, he would argue that it's not a matter of right or wrong. It's a matter of people negotiating for what they want. And if they need us enough, then they'll give us more. If
Did you vote for the strike?
I don't think I voted, no.
Ouch.
They send me shit, and
Yeah.
and I don't, usually I throw it away.
Oh, okay.
Unless it's a bill for dues. Then I don't throw it away, but I ignore it for a while, for about
Yeah.
3 months or 4 months. But now,
Mike Massa, does anybody know who that is?
No.
Well, he set himself on fire during the SAG.
Oh, but he's a stunt guy, though.
Yeah.
yeah,
so-
it's not like a Tibetan monk.
Yeah, he wasn't. It was not like a real. He was not dying. That guy.
Hilarious.
Now, as comedians, I mean, our one advantage, obviously,
Yeah, live gigs.
what if we had a Netflix special or a Netflix series and it did very, very well, then we could make the money on live gigs, as you pointed out.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we could, the nice thing about stand-up comedy is that they can't, stop us from doing live shows and people, and if we become well-known, then we will attract a
But
crowd there.
Can you imagine?
But obviously, that doesn't apply to actors who might get fucked because
Yeah.
they have no other income stream.
Too bad we're not unionized because we'd
Comedians?
Yeah, we'd get insurance.
Why aren't we unionized?
I think they've tried.
They tried to, yeah, they tried to, and then they didn't. But 15 years or so
I feel like
ago, we.
SAG has. I guess it's not screen actors. All right, never mind.
I mean, we could do a separate. Yeah,
I just wish they would factor in our live gigs when figuring out insurance for us. Figuring out whether we qualify, but I guess it's not their.
Well,
it's
that's
screen
not their
is
thing.
the first.
I mean, you could
letter
start
of your
another
screen.
union, and maybe that would work. Like the Broadway has equity.
Yeah.
Maybe you could do that, but.
How come nobody started a stand-up?
Well, again, 15 years or so ago, they kind of tried, and it didn't kind of. There was a comedians
I think it's hard to get everyone to get
coalition,
together,
and
get people together.
it just didn't work.
Yeah.
You mostly work, I believe, music clubs, right? I mean,
work-
you don't do like the improvs and the funny bones.
I will sometimes. I haven't done the Funny Bone in a while, and I haven't done an improv in a while. I've done the L.A. Improv very recently, which is really good. I try to do like opera houses. No, I try to do like
Todd.
try to do like little theaters, little music venues, little performance spaces. Yeah.
And do you? So it's like you rent the theater, and
I get booked, and a promoter brings me there.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like say I'm going to rent out your theater and see what happens.
But as far as the promotion, you take on that
I
responsibility.
mean,
most?
ideally, there's
They
a
do it-
promoter who brings your, when you see a band, there's a promoter who brings it to town, and they book whatever markets are in the area or maybe the whole nation, and then they promote it, I promote it. Some are very bad about promoting it, and then others are really good about it.
Do you have a favorite place
Favorite place?
to perform? Like, is
Oh
there
gosh, like a favorite city?
or venue, I think more specifically.
Ah,
Oh.
you mean like on the road, not
Yeah.
the Comedy Cellar?
Not the
'cause-
Comedy Cellar.
Okay.
That's obvious, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
obvious. Oh gosh, I could do it more by city.
Okay.
I mean, I like in L.A. I like the Improv. I like Largo, Dynasty
I never played
Typewriter.
Largo. I heard a lot about that.
I like. I mean, there's a lot of places. I like cities. I'll do cities. I'm going to change your question.
Okay.
I like.
It's fine.
I mean, I like Toronto.
Todd, are there any cities that you
I mean, I love
particularly like?
Toronto and I love Chicago, and I mean, you can have a good show anywhere and you can have a bad show anywhere, but there are places where you're more likely to not have you're less likely to have a bad show.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think in any city, there's going to be a group of people that are going to dig you. You just
Yeah,
got to
if you
find
get
them,
your
make sure
people, yeah.
they've got to know, about it. And I guess you have a, pretty good following from your online presence.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the only reason people know me.
But that's how it is now. It's like the online nobody cares if you did the Tonight Show anymore.
No.
It's how many, it's what you got going on Instagram and TikTok and all that shit. Are you posting regularly?
I am. I'm not doing I mean, I will. I have a special coming out soon.
Oh, okay. Well, then we'll certainly delve into that a bit.
Yeah. I'm not going to reveal the name of it yet because I want it to be a surprise. But
Okay.
When is it coming out?
I can't tell you. No, August 28th, I think, is is what it's
on
supposed to be.
on YouTube or
On All Things Comedy YouTube.
Okay.
So
you produced it yourself?
They produced it. They paid
Who
for
are
it.
they?
All Things Comedy is.
Okay.
They're a production company that Bill Burr and Al Madrigal and a bunch of other people started.
Oh, okay.
And
Where'd you tape it?
Chicago at the Den Theater.
It's going to be an hour special. That's sort of
about 50-ish.
Yeah, that's kind of the standard.
Yeah, now I think there's less pressure to do like it's got to be an hour.
Is it thematic? I guess not. I mean, your style is not like where you do long stories necessarily.
No, it's just I bounce around.
Because like some specials are thematic. Like John Mulaney's recent special was all about his drug and rehab.
Mm-hmm.
And Chappelle's, I mean, he does a lot about trans and
I don't know. That's the theme of his. I don't think.
But Chris Rock's recent special was called what was it called? It was
Selective Outrage.
Selective Outrage. So it was not entirely, but largely about selective outrage, I guess. And you and I are comics that kind of do shorter jokes.
Yeah. I wish I didn't, though. I mean,
Well, maybe you could just surprise everybody in your next special.
I mean, I have some epic long jokes, but they're not like I don't tell like 10-minute stories or anything.
Also, you don't tell you don't. You talk about your life, but you talk about you don't talk about. I don't think. I mean, from watching you, you talk about sort of the minutia, the
Yeah, I don't
everyday.
I don't get too
you don't
personal,
get personal, right?
for the most part.
Yeah. So you and I are alike in that way.
Yeah, we're closed books, man.
But perhaps, I don't know. If I got famous and had to come up with another hour, I would just make the other hour just.
When are you going to do a special?
I just did one.
You did?
Yeah, I did. But I also got somebody produced it for me and paid me up front.
Who's that?
Crossroads. They're like a music thing. There's a musical club in Jersey, Crossroads, and they decide to get into the special business, and they gave specials out to several of us, all of us, longtime veterans of comedy, Tony Viveros, Wendy Liebman, Tom Cotter, like not young people.
Right. How did they find you?
Eddie Brill was booking it.
Oh.
So Eddie Brill, who, for those who don't know, he's been a long time. He used to book Letterman. Anyway, so I taped it.
When's that coming out?
Well, I don't know. They're trying to find like a place to put it. Whether it be Hulu, it may end up, and likely will end up on YouTube.
Is where they're going to put it.
That's fine. If maybe Amazon, I don't know. Amazon, can't you just put literally anything on Amazon?
You can post it, but it's also you can also get a deal from Amazon.
Yeah, right.
Which I didn't get a deal from. I wasn't able to get a deal from people.
But in any case. So it's called A Little Bit Bananas. That's the
It is?
Well,
I like that.
But that's Periel was one who suggested that, because I have a joke about my teacher showing us how to use a condom with a banana.
Yeah. I heard you do it the other night.
Okay, so Periel thought A Little Bit Bananas. It's a reference to that joke, but also a reference to the fact that I am.
You're a little out of
Some
your mind.
folks say a little bit bananas.
You're not.
I know some folks include the psychiatrist at Payne Whitney mental institution. No, I'm kidding about that. But I am a little bit bananas, yes.
Yeah, well, we all are.
If you're in this business.
Join the club.
That's
That's great, though. They should just dump it on YouTube, man.
They might end up, and likely will end up going in that direction, sure. And who knows if it gets. But the point is if it gets. I mean, the best case scenario is 1 million people see it, 2 million people, whatever. I mean, maybe not. But in that case, then you have to go on the road with new shit.
I know, it's hard.
And that's hard. And so maybe I'll then change my style to just telling stories about my life.
Well, that leads me to my latest tour that I'm doing.
Please do.
I don't know if you've seen it advertised.
I haven't done
Have you
it,
seen it, Periel?
I have.
I'm doing a tour called the Half Joking Tour, where it's half crowd work, half jokes.
Okay. But you've done a crowd work special.
I did,
in the
yeah.
past,
I can't say I didn't. I can't say I really wanted to keep doing, because now that everyone's
doing. You were sort of a pioneer in that.
I am the pioneer.
Well, you were like the first one to do a crowd work special.
I think maybe one other person did one, but I'm definitely not the first person to do crowd work. But I mean,
there weren't special.
There wasn't like people.
It wasn't a thing the way it is.
It wasn't
now.
a big deal, yeah. And now everyone is. I mean, I could talk about how I feel about that. But
Well, go ahead.
Well, you certainly can, but if you don't want to.
yeah, I don't want to.
Well, obviously you feel negatively about it.
I don't want to insult anyone, but I feel like now's the time. If you're a comic, you should be posting jokes.
But they don't want people to see the jokes, and then they go on the road and they have to do new jokes.
Yeah. So I mean, What are you going to not do a joke because you released it on Instagram? Like, the people like everyone's going to get up and leave or something?
Well, I mean,
Fucking just
let me
do
ask.
fucking. I can understand if you do a whole special
Yeah.
and then you go out on the road and they see the whole special. Like, what do you? I feel ripped off. But like isolated clips, like
Well, what do you think is the like? Say you had a clip that went viral,
Uh-huh.
and 1 million people saw it, 10 million people saw it. I mean, would you do it at a live show?
Sure.
At what
Hell
number
yeah.
do you say
I've-
everybody's seen this joke? Fuck it, I'm not doing it.
I mean, I could like I'm gonna try to not do anything. Once my special comes out,
Or drops, as we say now.
drops, I'm not gonna do anything from the special. But I know that I could.
I feel like sometimes people want to see
Yeah,
your greatest hits. As the
Sometimes they
case may
do,
be.
yeah.
Like, Dan, do that banana joke.
I mean, they do, but there's also you can't lose if you're doing new stuff. Unless
Right.
I mean, good new stuff.
Right.
Now,
Unless
Louis,
it's terrible.
as you know or may know, Louis was on a podcast where he referenced that banana joke.
Right.
And he did the banana.
Yeah.
He did the banana joke. And I'm grateful to him because a lot of people found out about me. But I get people coming to me after the show saying, "Hey, that banana joke, from Louis. I heard Louis."
Right.
And I don't know whether I guess they were happy to hear it. It's only
Yes.
one joke, but
Yes, they were happy
people
to
do remember the shit.
I mean, I know like Brian Regan, who's very prolific. At the end of his show, I think he comes out and does an encore, and people yell out great hits of his.
Yeah.
But I don't, he's not going to go on stage and do the U2 joke from in the middle of his set or whatever.
Right. It does seem to be a thing that, like, the idea of coming up with a new hour every year or two seems to be something that I didn't see 20 years ago.
I mean, Carlin used to do it.
Yeah, I guess so.
But, and I will say, I do understand the releasing clips that aren't material because it is more disposable, and if you look good in it, then you didn't burn that joke. But I don't know that. I think burning material is kind of an extreme way of like phrasing, like posting a YouTube clip. But I mean, if it's a YouTube clip and 80 million people watched it, then maybe all right.
My feeling about crowd work is this. For it to be good, I think, it often will take time because, you talk to somebody and where they're from, and then maybe you talk to somebody else and where they're from, and then maybe you mix the two together. You make to get information out of people takes time, and then to kind of weave it together, these clips can only be a minute or two.
Yeah.
So I think, to get a really good crowd work quickly is difficult because I think good crowd work requires a lot of information that you extract from the audience other than just where you're from.
Yeah.
You might want to know, what do you do? How did you guys meet? It takes time, don't you think, to get enough information to really come up with a killer
Well, I mean,
piece
that's
of
what's
crowd
good
work.
about crowd work is it eats a lot of time also.
But it doesn't work in a clip that has to be a minute or two.
Yeah, if it's like a boom, 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 if you just nail something like I always do when I do crowd work, right?
Larry.
But again, like you might talk to somebody that's from, say, from England, and then a couple of minutes later you talk to somebody from Ireland, and then you make some sort of joke about English-Irish relations. But you'd have to get both clips that are maybe
Well,
separated by
in
2 or
that
3 minutes.
In that example.
But I think that happens a lot.
You could
No,
also-
but I feel like something usually pops, like something ridiculous. If you talk to enough people, like somebody usually does something fucking idiotic or says something ridiculous.
Yeah, but then they're funny, not you.
But I
A lot of times, like, people are laughing because the audience, like, where'd you guys meet? We met in church, and then the audience just finds that funny, and
Right.
and they're laughing. Or I used to date his best friend, and then they're laughing at just the absurdity of that situation.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not, you didn't do anything. They're just laughing at the absurd, and you'll be like, and then like, you might give like a look, like you roll your eyes, and then the audience laughs because you're rolling your eyes.
I will say when
But you didn't say anything interesting.
I get sad when I see a comic doing crowd work,
And
the most
why is that?
especially a newer comic, because it's a waste of their time. So I mean,
Well, it's not a waste of their time if they get 1 million hits on YouTube and then go on the road and can fill a club.
Yeah, you could just as likely do that with a joke.
No.
I just feel because I see these, especially these MCs, and you're just like, they get on stage and it's like, oh, what about you? Oh, what about you? And the audience just sitting there waiting for anything to happen that you decide, and you're deciding that you're just going to go, what about you? What
But
about
what's
you?"
your ideal
My ideal MC
Yeah.
is something that I fight with people all the time, which is not a second of crowd work.
Okay, so Mike Yard fits that description.
Yeah, does he?
He doesn't do a second of crowd work.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay. Because there's this. I'm gonna get fired up now. But there's just this myth
Well, we
that
kinda like that.
that warms them up, and it if you go to a show at a theater, it's very unlikely that
Right.
and like, why don't they need to be warmed up? And also, yeah, your first joke might not work, your second joke might not work, but it's the beginning of the show. I mean, I just don't. I just get because I see people. I've seen them like they're emceeing a whole weekend at a club, and they're just shitting on people. And if you like doing it, then you should do that. But that's like an hour of stage time that you could be working on stuff. No one's gonna. Very few people, except like exceptions like this guy Matt Rife, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, Matt, right.
I mean,
I guess.
who's exploded with crowd work.
Right.
But I think people are going to be more likely to notice you if you do something that you've written.
Well, as a guy that has to go on after these people, do you see?
Well,
do you see a difference? Have you noticed a difference?
Well, that's another thing is that why I don't like the MCs doing it, and I mean, I wish they would. Some people do it in a way that doesn't. Some people do it in a way that whoops up the crowd in a shitty way. Like, I don't like that. But I can also, I'm skilled enough where I can deal with it and be fine. But yeah, I mean, there's times where the MC does all the crowd work, and then you're like, and the first act is the first actual jokes they're hearing of the night. You know?
Right. But do you think it makes a difference in terms of how they perceive, how they receive a joke if they haven't heard 10 minutes of jokes prior to that? I don't know. I don't necessarily know that I've noticed a big difference in it.
I mean, everything is possible. You can go up in front of there's acts where you're like, oh, I could never follow out that guy, and then you follow them and you fucking kill, and you think it's the type of act that you could never follow, and then there's acts you think you can follow, and then you're like, oh shit, what's going on now? It's not going well, and then. But I think it sort of sends a message that hey, we're all in this together. You guys are, instead of just like, you're the audience and we're the comedian. I don't know. So I don't mean in like some shitty like boundary, but there should be a boundary.
Yeah, like the show is starting now as like a proper show.
Well, I always I feel I have to watch the MC here when I go on because I don't want to repeat it because I will involve the audience. Not crowd work per se, but just as a jumping off point. Like I have a joke about Canada, so I might say any Canadians here to get into that joke. Mm-hmm. And if the MC's already spent 10 minutes talking to Canadians, I'll look like an idiot if I say any Canadians.
No, I generally, if I'm doing a headlining show, I watch the opener if it's someone I don't know. But
do you ever tell an opener, hey, look, I talk about this, so maybe...
Oh, yeah,
about this?
yeah. If I'm paying someone, I don't like put some straitjacket on them, but it's just like no crowd work, and... If there's like a big chunk, like I do a big chunk of cat jokes, don't do any cat jokes, please. And that's it. I'm not like I don't
I just
sift
at a
through
barbecue with
transcript of their act or something.
Just very briefly, I was at a barbecue with your cat sitter, Tom.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's a comedian. Yes.
But he's also your cat
Yeah, he is my cat sitter, Tom Ryan. Yeah, very funny guy. My oldest friend.
He's really a nice guy.
He's a super nice guy.
Yeah. Anyway...
I just want to say that as a much newer comic, it's interesting to hear you guys say that because
we have a lot of wisdom to dispense.
I know. What do you think I'm doing sitting here for half my life trying to glean something?
Well, if you have any particular questions about what we've discussed and you want our wisdom, you're certainly
No, but it's interesting because I host a lot of shows and I've been told other things that like get on stage and say hello and talk to the audience a little bit. And
that's just something that's just being repeated to you. There's no evidence of that. I mean, if you go to the San Francisco, like the Punchline San Francisco, or a lot of clubs on the road, they just go right into the comic, just starts doing comedy.
I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing to say, "Hey, welcome," and
you can say hi, welcome to whatever club you're at,
and then I don't think it's a bad thing to do your jokes. If your goal is to get great at writing and telling jokes, then you want to use that time wisely. And so I agree with
But
Todd.
also,
in that sense, you want to use that time productively and tell jokes.
100%. I think there's real value to that. But I also think that sometimes it's harder, and maybe that's your job, is that it's harder to just go straight into jokes.
Well, I mean, the way I think, am I cutting you off?
No.
I think some people, what they're doing by doing that is they're going, hey, my first joke might not work, so why even try
Right.
when I could go, where are you from?
Right.
Well, there's no pressure. No one's going to start cracking up when I say, where are you from? I just feel like if you were in the audience and you're sitting there, because often I understand maybe if they're just getting settled and they're just getting seated while you're, I mean, sometimes some rooms have more chaos in them than others. But because I've seen shows where like, I'm sitting there, I'm looking at the audience and they're just sitting there waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, waiting.
So they're not waiting for you to ask where they're from.
Right.
And like, which would you rather hear as an audience member? A joke that's really good or a discussion?
Well, the discussion is done comedically. That could be good, but
Yeah, I know. I'm not. I mean, clearly, I've done a crowd work special, and I'm doing a current tour where, but no one's going on after me. Also, it's a big difference.
I do want to talk about.
I have to follow myself in this upcoming tour.
I do want to talk about another entertainer of note that just died, I guess, just today, Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah.
56 years old. They're not saying how she died, so I'm assuming it
Well,
was
it seems
something
fair.
bad, like drugs or just a suicide. But
Yeah, that's.
I feel like, Todd, you've met Sinead O'Connor.
I've never met Sinead O'Connor.
It seems like
no.
somebody you would have met.
No, I've never met her, but I mean, seemed like she had a rough. Like she seemed like she's been in rough shape for a while, but.
Yes, and
I know that Noam probably would not appreciate my phrasing on this, but I do think she died by suicide.
no. Well, I mean, when they don't say, usually it's either that
Well,
or
also
a drug overdose.
her son died last year,
Oh,
and
I
I
didn't know
think
that.
she tried to.
Oh, that's enough to put you over the edge. But
How did her son die?
by suicide.
Oh, God, that's brutal.
Yeah, and she said that it just like absolutely ravaged.
Oh,
her.
yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Ugh.
It's very sad.
Let's go back to talking about crowd work.
I know, and insurance was even better.
well,
That was a crowd.
she's been famous for about 30 years. I think she only had one big hit. I don't want to disparage her, but I'm just thinking it's interesting. That
Well-
nothing compares to you, right? That other than
Wasn't that a Prince
That is a Prince
song?
song.
the Prince song, and
Yeah.
but she covered it, yeah.
So her entire career was based on the fact that she did a great cover of a Prince song. Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm suggesting that she's been famous for a very long time.
She did that song, Mandika. Do you know Mandika? Wasn't that her? I
don't
can't
know.
sing.
But I'm saying it's just interesting to me that she's been. I think part of it also she was provocative. She ripped a picture of the Pope or something. She took a stand against the Catholic Church. So she was provocative. She also, she had her hair was shaved, and I think so she had a look. They made fun of her on SNL. I remember going back.
She was a real quote unquote troublemaker. I read that she took real pride in that as an artist and as a person, that she really went against the grain, if you will.
Yeah, I guess. All I know is that she ripped up a picture of the Pope. That's the only thing I know that she did.
She also didn't want the national anthem played when she did a venue in New Jersey.
Oh, wow.
The U.S. national anthem, I guess.
Yeah. That was just the thing that every event there they played the national anthem. She's like, I don't want.
Yeah, she was fucking cool. She was a badass.
So that's my point. Is that her fame was in large measure from these ancillary sort of
Wow.
things, other than just the "Nothing Compares to You," which was a big hit, but it was a big hit a long time ago. And
Well, there's probably people who are more into her music than you are,
that's probably
and
true.
And I'm not. I don't know much about.
But the fact that she's a household name for
Yeah.
anybody,
Yeah.
Yeah, like
anybody.
you don't get that being that famous just from ripping up a picture of the Pope.
Although Lisa Loeb, people still know who she is.
She's also ripped up a picture.
Just gonna say that.
I know Lisa Loeb a little bit.
Now, her you do know.
Yeah, she's very nice.
She is very nice. She was on our podcast. She talked about Camp Lisa.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
She was on this podcast.
Yeah, years ago.
Oh, okay.
What's
Yeah.
Camp Lisa?
It's a camp it's a camp that she did like for kids that maybe they can't afford. I don't know. It's a camp
Okay.
for kids to go to. Obviously,
I want to hear more about Todd's cat sitter.
Oh, You mean about him as a person?
No, just like how often that's.
Well, when I go on the road, I have two people generally who either my friend Tom Ryan will stay there. I don't think he cares if I talk.
Nah,
about this
probably
guy.
not. No.
How many cats do you have?
I have one little goof.
You love that cat, right?
I do love her. Yeah, she's exhausting, but I do love her. Do you have one?
I don't have one.
You seem like you would have.
But she has a son.
Does
Oh,
that-
yeah. How old's your son?
He's about to turn 10.
Oh, okay. You got a little handful.
That's
there
also a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's probably more work than a cat.
Hey, it's not a contest.
Why is she exhausting?
It's just she's just if you're not in the same place energy wise, like if you're just waking up and she's like,
Is she a kitten?
she's 5 years old,
Okay.
but I got her when she was a kid.
Okay.
But so he comes and he'll, or I'll have someone come twice a day to the apartment.
Wow, that's.
But cat's a lot less work than a dog. A dog is.
Yeah, they don't have to be walked, but they should be played with and scoop that litter twice a day if you can. Fed twice a day.
Does your apartment smell and you just don't know it because you're there all the time
Um,
and you're used to it?
Am I nose blind? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean that can
Commercial?
happen. That can happen.
Yeah, I mean I don't think so. It's possible, I should say.
I
Not
mean,
if you're scooping litter twice a day. That happens.
You gotta be
when
careful because I've been to houses where people have cat and it just smells awful, but they don't know it.
Yeah, well, then
think
it doesn't smell awful if I don't know it.
Well, but you might have visitors.
Well,
Somebody would.
You might have.
Did
a
you
lady
tell
f-
them? Did you tell them it smells like?
No, I didn't tell.
I'm surprised knowing you.
Well, I
that you
probably
didn't
could.
tell-
I probably told Louis Schaefer because he's a good friend of mine, and he's the kind of person I could tell.
Yeah. What did you? How would you?
But I don't
phrase
remember.
that?
But I may not have.
But like,
I
how
probably said
could
Louis-
you do that tactfully?
I think I just retched like.
And also, what's to be gained by like? just
Well,
gonna
if
be
there's something
I'll
you can
make
do-
sure her shit doesn't smell.
Well, if there's
anymore.
something that can be done about it, I mean, if you can stay on top of it.
Yeah, you got to stay. You can't let it. Some people let their litter stack up, and not this guy.
Yeah, well, you seem like a very.
Oh, look at
Oh.
That's Todd and his cat. Wait, what's the cat's name?
that. Her name is Michaeline. It's the name she had at the ASPCA, and I kept it because I thought it was kind of sweet, and I'd never heard it before.
It is sweet. She looks like she's enormous. Is she, or is that just the?
It could be the angle. She weighs like 11 pounds.
You know, the woman on my floor in my building where I live committed suicide, and prior to doing so, she had her dog put down.
Okay, that is a lot.
It's a lot to unpack.
But and then I went online. I googled like, can you just put a dog down for any reason? And like some vets, you can.
Okay.
You don't-
Really?
just
You
go
can
to
just,
the-
you
yeah.
can just say kill my dog?
Yeah, some vets like I don't.
That's fucking.
Okay.
That should be illegal.
Okay, 1 second.
Yeah.
First of all, when did this happen?
A couple years ago,
And how did you find out?
the neighbors. It's just another person in the building said, "Did you hear about so and so?" And
Did she commit suicide in the building?
And I haven't. I think so. Yeah, because there was like on the door of the building there was like this tape.
Yeah.
Like this police like for some reason I didn't know this.
How'd
like,
she do it?
I don't know. But
Well, I mean, how?
I don't know. But for some reason, I guess I don't know why, but there was like an NYPD like sticker
Well,
on
that's going to happen if someone's. They don't know if it's murder. They don't know. They got. The cops are going to be involved in something. Not just,
Well, the cops are always involved when somebody dies. I mean, not always,
Yeah.
but I think that cops, right? If somebody dies, you call the cops. Don't you call the cops normally? Even if they die of natural causes, who do you call? I think you call the.
Called Ghostbusters.
You know, but who do you call somebody
Right
like
there.
dead in the
It was
apartment?
right there.
What's the first call that you make to if somebody, say your roommate is dead?
it's
who
kind
do
of sad that it's the whole thing's sad. But why didn't she just like find a place put it up for adoption and then?
I love that. That's what Todd's upset about.
Well, I don't.
No, like why? I mean, yeah, it's sad she killed herself, obviously, but it's just.
But she
also
she had
sad
the
that-
presence of mind to go to the vet. So you're saying, so why not have the presence of mind to
Why is nobody taking this vet to task for killing
Yeah,
a
no,
fucking
I
dog?
did
Todd
immediately
mentioned
did that. I said
I don't. I mean, you can
Google.
Google that. I did, and like I said, like I think some vets, like if you just, you don't.
They're
have
like,
to-
sure, yeah, give
you
me
don't have to
like
give a-
$800.
You don't have to give a reason. I mean,
I can't-
maybe Nicole can verify that. She does
Yeah, like-
not obligated to do so.
I want Nicole to verify that one.
You know, maybe the dog was about 15, so he was not a young dog. But he.
Oh, well,
but I,
damn, that
Well,
changes.
but I saw him in the hallway. I mean, this dog had energy. This dog. This dog was going to
I mean,
outlive
is there
all
a
of us.
chance her dog was? If you ask, you put a vet down. It's called owner request.
Your vet has the,
Convenienced euthanasia.
your vet has the legal
Oh, my
right to euthanize a
God.
healthy animal if it is beyond behavioral rehabilitation, it is dangerous, or has behavioral issues.
Oh, that's not.
Okay,
just
that's
like,
different.
That's not just like, hey, I don't.
But is that every state, or is, I mean...
Well, what is convenience euthanasia? Sounds
It
very
sounds
vague.
horrifying. Also, it sounds just selfish.
Also...
Look at that question on the bottom. Can you kill your terminally ill pet yourself? Well, I think that's a yes, but it's the.
But
it might not
behavioral
be legal.
rehabilitation is, of course, a matter of subjectivity.
Wait, but that's also in Florida. Please note.
Oh,
Well, can you look up the New York law, Nicole?
Can you kill your term? Okay, so
if you can.
first of all, don't they euthanize like thousands and thousands?
Yes,
of
at the
animals
ASPCA, or
every
maybe not at the
day?
ASPCA. I don't know about the ASPCA, but in shelters, there are shelters where they,
oh yeah.
they can't get rid of the animal.
Yeah, yeah.
Like every single day in this country,
Yeah.
they kill thousands of
Yeah.
animals.
I
that
mean,
they
there are
just-
also no-kill shelters.
Yes, there are no kill shelters, but
Those are sad because it's like they'll be like this cat Sparky's been here 2 years.
Yeah.
No, it's like
yeah.
little
So
thing.
buy Sparky.
Buy.
Well, you don't buy.
You
it.
adopt.
No,
This is,
buy. I mean, like
good-
buy,
but goodbye,
like goodbye,
the
Sparky.
sad buy.
So I don't,
You don't want.
I don't really know what's worse.
Oh,
Like
okay.
that it's worse that like a vet's doing it when they do it just as like par for the
Right.
course in shelters all across. I mean, I think it's horrible regardless.
I mean, if you can't find...
Nobody's going to adopt
Yeah.
a 15-year-old dog either. So she did have the foresight in her defense to not give this dog to a shelter. It might have been more humane to actually euthanize.
If she didn't have anybody that was willing to take it, perhaps.
Well, who's going to take a 15-year-old
I'll tell you, this dog, like I said, he had spunk. He would run all around the hallway. I would see him, and he ran into
How
my
did we start
apartment.
talking about this?
I think it's interesting.
No, it said, how did we start talking?
Oh, how do?
Oh.
Because
Sinead O'Connor?
no, your cat.
Oh, okay.
Your cat. We talk about the
Yeah,
cat,
yeah.
and then we move, from the cat talk to my neighbor.
Is there a song? Micheline?
Micheline.
Sounds like
It
like
isn't.
a
I think that's
Stevie Nicks song.
I think that's Angelina Jolie's mother's name.
Really?
Doesn't that sound like a Stevie Nicks song?
It could be. I mean, not.
Okay, no,
doesn't
it doesn't.
hit me over the head, but no, it does sound like Angelina Jolie's mother was Marceline.
Oh,
Marceline
there you go.
Bertrand.
Okay, what else is going on?
Well, the Comedy Cellar is doing something, and I don't know if it'll work, but the Comedy Cellar is simulcasting a show. They're taping a show. They're not taping. They're simulcasting a show to 48, I think, 47, 48, whatever the number is. I saw Bill Grunfast just last night. He's involved with it. You know Bill.
Yeah.
So Regal Movie Theaters is partnering with the Comedy Cellar, and they will be showing on their screens a simulcast Comedy Cellar show at 48 or so theaters around the country. You come to the theater, you get your popcorn, you get your tub of soda, and you watch a Comedy Cellar show in real time, simulcast from the world famous Comedy Cellar. Neither Todd nor I were invited to do this show, but that's okay. I don't know what criteria they used to pick the I would have asked Noam if he were here.
Well,
but
think about how old you are and how old I am, and then take it from there.
but if Louis C.K. wanted to do it, I don't think they would say
Well,
no.
that would transcend. That's a more famous person.
But maybe also you just weren't here that night. Were you immediately?
No,
go to
I don't think they've taped it yet. It's simulcast, so they haven't done it.
Well, I don't know what simulcast is.
I mean, it's like they tape it
at
at the same time.
So it's short for simultaneous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at the time.
You've
that
never
they-
heard the word simulcast?
No.
Oh my god. I'm so
Yeah,
smart.
but you couldn't guess what.
Well, I obviously did guess since I guessed and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was right.
but you didn't guess with any confidence.
Give her a break.
I had
See, I
plenty.
defended you.
I have plenty of.
It's August 5th. August 5th. New York Comedy Cellar Uncensored live stream.
How much are tickets?
Tickets are. Wait a second here. More details. August Uncensored. 2023. Showing in 2D. I'm not seeing how much it costs though.
Okay.
But anyway, let's assume it's a $20 ticket. Todd Barry, is this going to be a hit or a miss?
I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting idea, but I wonder if it's something that's done before a movie.
No,
Otherwise-
it is.
or
It's the main event.
It's the main event, so people can just make a trip to the movie theater to
watch the
it.
Comedy Cellar. Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, your facial expression doesn't appear.
I mean, I wish everyone good luck, but I do wonder, whether it's just going to be like, I have Netflix at home. Why am I?
Well, speaking to Bill Grunfest last night, he told me that the selling point. You're quite right, of course.
Is
people
the
just
live
watch-
aspect of it?
It's the live aspect. It's that you're going out. Some people just like an evening out.
Yeah.
And you're with people, so comedy is better in a crowd generally.
Mm-hmm.
There's a contagious factor in terms of the laughter. So those factors, plus the fact, basically that's it. It's live, and it's you're out and about, and you get your nachos or whatever.
I mean, if it works, then I got no problem with it.
I'm assuming that this is in places other than New York City.
Yes, obviously.
like in
places
Kansas.
that are you can't go to the Comedy Cellar. So this is from the Interrobang. Go to a live comedy show at your local movie theater. I'm just trying to see if they have the cities. It's 48. I was right, across the United States, live, uncensored, and bigger than life.
I mean, it'd be kind of fun to watch that, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. With a big tub of buttery popcorn.
Wow.
I'm not seeing the lineup though. I really would like to know the lineup. I don't know why they're being cagey on the lineup here.
Well, maybe that's intentional.
Yeah, it's like you gotta see for yourself, man.
So your special's coming out August 28th.
Yeah.
When will you be releasing the name?
Before, I just haven't gone public with
It's
the name.
like-
I don't mean to oversell the name.
No,
but
not at all.
That's
I'm
Well, it's like a baby. A lot of people, they don't want to
yeah,
give you the name of the
it's my
baby.
little baby.
They don't want to give you the name of the
It's
baby.
my
I don't know. My
wi-
my niece is having a baby, and I don't know what it's going to be called, but I'll know in August, which is coming up.
Is it also?
And also Rosebud Baker. She wouldn't tell me the name,
Yeah. Well, you don't really.
so I don't know Rosebud Baker from a hole in the wall. But
Well, that might be why she didn't want to
I
tell
mean, I
you
do
the
know her
name.
from a hole in the wall, but I don't know her very well. So I certainly wouldn't be if she were going to reveal it. It wouldn't be to me.
Well, the
But
thing
a
is,
lot
I
of people don't reveal the name.
Yeah, but I think also people don't like telling the name of things before they come out because everybody has a fucking opinion about it.
Yeah.
Well, that's-
Yeah, you don't want to hear well, I'm naming it. But
Yeah, you
also
should've-
anyone who would say that's a good way to find out who's a good friend. Like anyone who would say question your baby's name is not a good person.
Well, maybe like if you
Like, would you do that? Would you? Well, you would. But would
but if you care about your friend and you say, look, I don't think.
That's so insulting. If you care about your friend, they're not beating up their kid. They're just like giving it a name that you don't like. It's not like. Hey, if you
Well, but
care
it
about your kid-
might be a name that is associated with something horrible,
Okay, but like that's
Well, if they name
like
their kid,
like Katrina. Now, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear Katrina? You think the hurricane.
that's a pretty name too. That's.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean.
okay. That's ridiculous, though. I mean, just because you have a different opinion than like this person obviously has decided what they're going to name their child. Like, why do I care if it's a name that I don't like? The only thing is I think it's a hard thing to hide. Like, if you don't
You
like
can hide it.
What if your name means something awful in another language?
like Adolf.
Well, Adolf is an obvious one, but what if what is crap in Hebrew?
Chara.
What do you say? I'm gonna name my kid Chara, and you say, I don't know if you knew this, but it means crap in Hebrew.
And
I,
what if
thi-
they're
I
like,
think if someone came up with Chara, they probably knew it.
yeah.
They didn't just put those
No,
sounds
they might
together.
think some people do just put sounds together. You ever been to Aruba? Those people have the names in Aruba are like they just come up with anything.
Like Ray Allen.
No, Ray Allen wasn't born and raised
I
in
know
Aruba.
that.
But like some of these Aruban, you go down to Aruba, they have names that I think a lot of them they just piece together different names. Some people do that. They piece together names and like, oh well, my grandmother's name was Hannah, was Hannah, but then my my other grandmother was Shiara, so I'm going to put together a Chara.
All right.
and then as a
Before you know it, kid's named Crap.
as a friend, I would have to say, as your friend,
Yeah.
I have to say that means duty in Hebrew.
Right.
Now, Hebrew's not a language that's widely spoken, so you might get away with it, especially if you live like in the Midwest. But
Okay, I'm gonna guess that there aren't that many people naming their child that. in
Well,
the
this
US.
is just an example of a situation, unlikely though it might be, that where one could argue that telling your friend that the name is not good is helpful.
Well, I mean, that's
This is
an
a very odd
extreme-
situation.
It's extreme.
Yes,
It's not even worth talking about.
Okay, well, I thought it was worth
I'm shutting it down.
and
I'm shutting this down.
okay, but
Unless you want to keep talking.
no, that's okay.
No, I feel guilty.
That's all right. We've discussed the strike. We've discussed,
Mm-hmm.
you know, is there other big news going on?
Well,
Gnome is at the Comedy Festival in Montreal.
Yes,
so that is a. We can discuss that briefly. We're almost done, but I think Howie Mandel's part owner, isn't he, of the Montreal Comedy Festival?
Is he?
I think he is.
Oh,
I don't know, but I haven't done it. When was the last time you were up there?
a few years ago. I've done it a bunch of times, but it's been a few years.
I did what's called the Ethnic Show.
Really?
Yeah, about 7 years ago.
on what
So
grounds?
it's astounding how long ago it was. Jewish. I mean, that's considered an ethnicity for purposes of the Montreal Comedy Festival.
Okay.
And then they had this like really white guy from Toronto who looked like very, very, Northern European, but I guess he was Italian. And so,
So anyone with any heritage.
yeah, basically. But like, basically Italian, Jewish, and then Rashid Badouri, who is Moroccan, Muslim, did it. Ronnie Chang was on the show.
Okay.
This was before he wasn't quite as big then, so he could do, he wouldn't do it today, but, and he's obviously Asian. And was Gina Yasher right there? I'm not sure. But so it was the Ethnic Show. So they call it the Ethnic Show. And, I don't have it. I didn't do any really jokes about being Jewish, but
Was it fun?
I guess I just am. Yeah, well, the thing about the Ethnic Show is it started like before everybody else got there. So I was there for like a week before like all the other people started to come for the other shows. So it was kind of like it was just us.
Oh, it was in the first week.
Yeah, it was in the first but before like most
Where they
people
do
even got
French.
there.
Isn't that when they do the French language?
It might have been. It might have been.
Version? French version.
Yeah, they did the French.
French
It
language.
might have been, but like very few people I knew
What?
were there, and we're like the Montreal Comedy Festival is kind of fun because everybody stays at the same hotel. It's like summer camp. Everybody's hanging out at the hotel, and all your friends from the comedy world and you haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, that's
it's like
the,
a comedy reunion.
It's the blessing and the curse of that festival.
So Mae Martin was there when I was, Mae.
I know who she is. I don't know her.
Was there.
What is Gnome doing there? I mean,
I don't
he's
know, but if I
at
had
the
to
comic
guess-
club, but I just
He wanted to go. If I had to guess why he wants to go, first of all, Montreal's a cool town. He probably just wanted to go to Montreal.
yeah.
My guess would be he just wanted to see. Gnome does not want to miss out on any comedians that are great and going to be potentially famous, and they don't work here. So he's brought this up a couple of times where he's like, "Is there anybody I'm missing? Who should work here that I haven't seen that I don't know?"
Did you say my name when you said it?
Well, you already do work here, maybe not as often
As other
as you
people.
should,
Thank you.
as you'd prefer. But in the one name he mentioned of somebody that they say they missed out on was Nate Bargatze. They said they didn't take to him when he, was, I don't know, whatever. And so he's afraid of missing out on somebody that's going to be big, and they have no connection to the comedy. So my guess is, what is he doing there? He's trying to find out who he should be using that he's not using. That's my guess.
I mean, it seems pretty reasonable that he would want to go and check out the Montreal.
It's not
Comedy
crazy. Also, they need comics for Vegas, so
Yeah.
they see who's out, who's. That's
Like, I don't know how you could, in Noam's position, you could not go.
well,
to
you just
something.
go online and you can
easily-
see pretty much anybody you want.
Yeah, but it's different
It's fun. I
seeing
think
it.
it's fun, and he gets to see he combines.
Yeah, it's a trip,
It's a
and he
trip.
writes the whole
It's a
thing
trip.
off.
He
Maybe
writes
they-
it off, and he
maybe
goes
they
to a
put
nice
him up there.
restaurant. And
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll put him up, but and he'll go hang out, and he's hang out at the what's the hotel was the Hyatt on John Mance that I don't know if that's
Wow, you
Right
remember
now-
that? You remember the street that? Yeah.
Any serial killers out there listening?
Yeah, man. If you want to kill some funny folks.
Jean Mance was, I guess, a leading figure in Quebec history.
I do want to. I don't know. Are we out of time?
We're getting out of time, but we're not.
There
out
is
of time.
one other subject that's been weighing on my mind, and since the show has been veering a little bit dark,
Yeah.
Has anybody been following this Gilco killer in Long Island?
A little bit. Yeah, I saw an interview with a woman who went out with him.
No.
Yeah.
Dan?
I don't know the story.
He asked her if she was into true crime, and she's like, "I'm a true crime." She said she was a serial killer buff.
You're kidding,
Yeah.
Todd.
No, I'm not kidding. This was.
Oh, you know what? The Coleman is here. Coleman, why are you here? Is the band rehearsing now? Okay. Okay. Then why are you here? Just to use the bathroom?
Does this need to be done live on
Of
the
course,
thing?
this is interesting. Anyway.
My trombone case up here.
Okay, sorry.
I don't think your audience is interested in trombone cases, are they?
You never know. Coleman, the great Coleman, using a trombonist of renown. I thought you were coming up here to use the bathroom. There's a bathroom up here, and were I famous, and if I had to go number 2,
Yeah.
I would do it up here. Say I were Dave Chappelle, and
Is that where the celebs go? Like
I
bigger
don't-
celebs than me?
I don't know. Like I go around if I have to do that, I go around the corner to the Village Underground because it's got a floor-to-ceiling door in the bathroom.
Why don't you come up here?
Because I'd have to ask Liz for the key, or know him, and I would just have to ask, and then they would know why are you going upstairs. Like,
Well, I mean, you just told like the entire world.
that's true.
We
but,
got off topic now. Serial killers.
So that,
now hold on a second. This is an interesting discussion. So the question is, if Dave Chappelle had to go to the bathroom, would he come up here, or would he just make extra sure that didn't happen? Like, you're famous. You got a plan.
so what do you
that
think?
you can't
if
just go
you're
to the
famous,
bathroom.
You can control when you have to take a shit.
I mean,
You
you can control some.
You
of it,
you
yeah.
can control some aspect of it. If I know I'm going to the Comedy Cellar,
Yeah.
okay, I may not be so fast and loose with the hummus before the show. I may decide, to forego my meal till later. Whereas now I'm like, I'll take the chance.
This is disgusting.
I
It is
know, I don't-
disgusting, but
Let's talk about serial killers. Something.
well, all right.
pleasant.
We'll end with serial killers because we are running out of time. So
Okay.
what's the serial killer story? I don't know anything
Rex
about
Hoyerman.
Yeah.
Herman.
Yeah, architect.
Yes. 59 years old, architect, lives in Massapequa, Long Island.
it. That's a sketchy place to begin with,
It is?
I guess. They call it matzo pizza. Anyway, go ahead.
That's where the Baldwin brothers
Right,
are
right.
from.
Okay.
And he was actually classmates with Billy Baldwin, which is maybe or maybe not interesting. But at any event, he had an architecture firm in the city. He was married. He had 2 kids. He lived with his wife in this fucking house in Massapequa. And apparently he was responsible for killing at least 4 women. And I mean, I don't know. It's 2023. It takes 25 years to figure out from.
Yeah.
Well, for some reason, these serial killers take a long time to catch.
How did they? I don't even know how they.
I mean, Dahmer was doing it for, 10 years?
Yeah, but
before
that
they
was
got
a
him?
long time ago. I mean, the technology now is such that. How did he do it? First of all, this is genius. He did it in his own house while his wife and kids were away.
No, how did he? Not how did he kill? How did they catch him?
Oh, I got a little bit too excited for that.
I know you got too excited about.
They tied through DNA. His wife's hair was on one of the bodies.
Uh-huh.
And then apparently there was like a pizza box somewhere
Oh, yeah.
that had.
Where do they find the body?
The bodies were on Gilco Beach.
Oh, I'm good.
These killers, they always fuck up.
Well,
They often do.
I think sometimes they want to fuck.
I mean, it's good that they fuck.
But ultimately, I think some of them want the credit.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the psychology is like, wait, I've done all this great serial killing, and I want some credit here.
Yeah.
I think that's part of it.
But you have to be.
But
I mean-
eventually, yeah. I mean,
Well, there are 2 types of serial killers. There's organized and disorganized. And the people like this guy are organized and methodical, and they've got everybody fooled, and everybody thinks that they're just like a normal person.
yeah, because
They're very
the reason it takes a
charming.
long time to catch these people is because there's nothing necessarily. There's no motive. If somebody dies and their husband killed them, like, okay, we'll go check out the husband. But if it's somebody dies and the person that killed them had no connection to them and no reason to kill them,
Right.
it's going to be harder to catch that.
But they're also really charming. And
Yeah.
people, like,
Right.
they're
Often,
just.
yeah, that you do hear that over and over again.
That's
but
the
Ted
part
Bundy, and
John Wayne Gacy was like
was he a clown?
Yeah, he was a clown for his church.
And-
there were
and,
17 fucking bodies under the floorboards in his house. I mean, what Todd just said, that he went out with this woman and asked, "Are you into true crime?"
No, I didn't ask her. He went out. The serial
Yeah.
killer went out with them.
Yeah, I know.
I thought
That's
you
it.
just said I went out.
No, that you said that this guy.
Yeah, this
went,
serial killer. Yeah,
He went out and he asked women.
he asked this woman if she was into true crime.
Oh,
and,
wow.
And she said, "I'm a serial killer buff." I don't know if that's how she answered him, but that's how she answered the reporter.
That is so
That's
crazy.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Now, I would like to point out, and no offense to the two of you, but I think that almost
We're serial killers.
no, you're probably not, but I think it's like 99.9% of serial killers are straight white men.
Mhm.
So I don't know if the two of you have anything you'd like to say about that.
You're probably right about it.
Oh, I have nothing to say about that. I don't know if now. I wonder if that's true in say in countries that are not in Japan. I would imagine the serial killers are Japanese now, or maybe they don't have serial killers.
They probably don't have serial killers.
Maybe it's a white male thing. It could be.
I think
I
that
don't
there
know.
are serial killers in other countries. but
that stamp collecting and serial killing, and sometimes both in the same person. But white people do have their particularities.
men.
Like
N-
any.
there are no
I'm now-
women that are.
Now I'm sure. Now you might say that other crimes, without getting into detail, might be more prominent with other groups.
Well, serial killers are, my understanding from not inextensive reading, are it's a sexual urge.
Yeah.
Often it is. I don't know if that's
think it is,
universally
yeah.
the case, but maybe it is. Maybe it is universal. I don't know. It was certainly the case with Bundy and with Dahmer.
Did you ever see, remember the BTK killer?
Of course.
God, the interviews with him, he's just like, he just talks about his crimes like you would tell someone about your trip to Costco or something. And then I met her, and then I, killed her, and it's weirdly, but you know how he got caught.
He was a truck driver, right? He was
No, he worked at a church. He was in a church. That's how they.
BTK. That was the bind, torture, kill. No, I thought that he was.
With the fuck Mary
Was he a
killer.
truck driver?
I thought that's how he didn't get caught, was because he was
Oh, maybe
doing
it was-
it along his
but-
route.
The way they did catch him was he had been communicating through. I think I'm right about this. Through classified ads with the authorities, and he had a floppy disk, and he said, "I have a floppy disk. You can't trace it, right?" "No, we can't trace it." They fucking traced it, and they got him.
What was BTK stand for?
Bind, torture, kill.
Because the fuck Mary kill, he took the game a little too seriously.
All right, sir.
Dennis Rader, also
Yeah.
known as BTK's America.
Is he still alive?
Is Bundy they executed? Dahmer
Okay.
they killed in prison.
Wait a second.
BTK.
BTK killer on Gilgo. Sorry, I said it wrong. It's Gilgo Beach Murders. "Quote unquote. He's a clone of me."
Oh my God.
Well, people say John Mulaney and May are.
He he is still alive. Is that? Shut up. 10 people between Wichita and Park City, Kansas.
Thought he was northwest, but maybe I'm wrong.
I'm trying to figure out what he did.
Anyway, let's wrap this up.
Let's wrap it up.
Thank you, Todd. Your special, as yet not unnamed, but we don't know the name, but
Yeah.
it's coming up
And my tour starts. When is this going to be airing?
Next
tomorrow, right? Thursday.
It'll air on Sirius tomorrow.
And then we post it on as a podcast
Okay.
in next week.
My half joking tour will begin August 24th in Ashland, Virginia, which is outside of Richmond. Then goes on to Annapolis, Philadelphia, and a bunch of other cities.
Hopefully they'll put it on the Comedy Cellar Instagram.
ToddBarry.com for the show dates and tickets.
Thank you, Todd.
Thanks for having me.
Periel.
Thank you, Todd.
We thank you
I
for
think I
being
did-
here.
Did I do a good job?
I think it was an excellent job.
All right.
We had a good show, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.